TCI is brought to you by the new Spendthrift Stallion Stakes, the only $300,000 race for 2-year-olds where both owners and breeders profit. Coming to Churchill Downs this October.
Welcome back to TCI, your inside track to the Breeders' Cup alongside Joel Cunningham. I'm John Siegel. Let me tell you how dedicated this guy is. Just had a baby a few days ago. Joel, congratulations, and thanks for coming in and shooting this show.
Little filly. Let's get it done. A lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. Let's start off with California Chrome. I'll tell you what, he's the highest rated horse in the world right now. I think he shows you why right here.
Absolutely. One thing about what we're going to see in these race replays, the common theme is speed held at Santa Anita. However, the way he wins this race, gear down, I did think Dortmund washed out a little bit here. Not really seeing, I don't think, his best performances, but take nothing away. He's the #1 rated horse in the world. He loves Santa Anita, and here he is geared down again, John, with another big buyer speed figure. Your favorite for the Classic.
All right, let's move now to the fillies. You know, this was a race where we thought we would see Beholder and Stellar Wind. Yeah. Maybe Beholder could, turn the tables on Stellar Wind. Didn't happen, Joel. Same result.
Now, we saw a replay of the race we saw earlier this summer, to where Beholder, evidently didn't want the lead in short field, got it. But that was a good place to be in this type of racetrack. She loves Santa Anita too, but Stellar Wind just goes right on by, is able to latch onto her hip, go on by here, Beholder's game. I mean, they run a big number of 110 buyers. So if you believe the speed figure, you say it's a great race. To me, you have to elevate now Stellar Wind over Beholder, in my view, on the TCI top 5. I think I had them where Beholder was 2, Stellar Wind was 3. I would flip-flop those. And to me, if you're a Songbird fan, this was an encouraging race to see, because Beholder, to me, doesn't look like the old Beholder. And that's going to be the biggest threat, in my view, to Songbird. And the fact that even though she's running the big numbers still this year, if you believe the numbers, you would say Beholder's the same mare. To me, eyeball test-wise, she doesn't quite look like the same mare in my view.
All right, let's move now to the juvenile division, and let's talk about the front runner first.
Yep.
You know, Joel, your #1's in here, but he gets upset by the Malibu Moon colt. Tell me, what do you think happened?
Well, speed played out. I mean, we saw the break from the gate where a horse left without its rider, straight fire, was pushed out, not able to make the lead. This horse found himself on the lead, and a good-looking son of Malibu Moon, just a beautiful head on him, and it just has all the parts, John. You start looking at photos of the horse and the way, his physique. To me, he gives a lot of promise for next year as a 3-year-old. I mean, he got a 93 buyer. This is a pretty good performance. Won easy by 3 lengths. So I'm kind of looking at him next year as a real Kentucky Derby possibility. He's obviously a Breeders' Cup juvenile contender at this point. However, I will say this, Klimt, he's the only thing that closed ground all day. Got beat 3 lengths in there, which is a substantial margin, but still, nobody changed position in the stretch essentially all day at Santa Anita, the way the track was playing. For the fact that Klimt was able to close in, make up ground, get beat 3 lengths here by a pretty nice colt, and it was a fast race, I still think Klimt's a major player in that juvenile.
All right, well, let's move to the juvenile fillies. You know, we promised the viewers that we would launch a TCI top 5 in the juvenile division, but let's watch the Chandelier first. And tell me what you think about these two. Again, we see speed out here on the front end.
Well, this and the Del Mar Debutante have been the best preps so far because they're locally based. I mean, these 2-year-old fillies right now, I don't think there's a star in the division. The fact that Bob Baffert didn't send this filly to Keeneland, the fact that she's been working well, ran her in this race, and Bejarano jumped off of American Cleopatra and got on noted and quoted. Should have been a signal that you see a winning performance here. But again, speed. They're 1-2 all the way around there. Speed held. You had a nice, classy turf filly with honors. Never been on the dirt before. Was game to the wire in second. So still, trying to figure out this division a little bit, John. I think this is a wide open group, but you definitely have to give the fact that top connections like Bob Baffert and the local fillies, and the fact that the Breeders' Cup's at Santa Anita, you have to give the local fillies, to me, a heads up.
Well, let's jump right into the TCI top 5, and let's see where Noted and Quoted ends up on the TCI top 5 for the juvenile division.
Well, man, I mentioned how wide open this division is. We'll start with 12 horses I think that everybody's going to have in their top group of juvenile fillies at this point going into this weekend. And from it, we'll select a top 5. At number 5 for me, I'm going to go with Champagne Room, John. Here's a filly that was 4th in the Chandelier. Really disappointing for me, but if you go back and watch the race, Mike Smith is essentially skiing on her throughout the entire race. She wasn't able to settle. When I look at her pedigree and her physique and her quality, she looks like a 2-turn filly. That's what her future is. She didn't punch it in here again. Based on the fact that she was off a pace, on a track that was carrying speed, and she wasn't able to settle. I think that was her undoing. To me, she should get an education off of this, and it'll benefit her. I still think she's a top 5 contender in here. For me, number 4, I'm going to go with Nona Mella from the Todd Pletcher barn. Again, filly by Arch from the family of Super Saver. 2-turn pedigree written all over. I think they were surprised by her big breakthrough graded stakes win at Saratoga last time out. She's a filly that should appreciate for more ground. The fact she's going to run a mile Saturday, we're going to find out a lot about Nona Mella. see if that's there's the true quality is there with Nona Mella going forward, and she can be a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies contender. She's in that 4 spot for me. Number 3, a filly she'll face Saturday, and that's Yellow Gate. You know, you won't see this filly on many top 5s right now. I have her on there based on her talent in a division that I think is weak. A ton of upside. I mean, got slammed out of the gate in her debut from a barn that doesn't win first time out on the dirt with Christophe Clement. In a full field of Belmont, weaved through the traffic in a fast time, got up and ran down probably the best 2-year-old maiden in the country in Amapola, a track record setter at Gulfstream, who was also a very close second to Cherry Lodge in a live maiden race at Saratoga. So Yellow Gate, a 2-term pedigree. I'm very excited to see her run on Saturday against Nona Mella. And number 2, let's go with Bob Baffert's Noted and Quoted. You know, I still think Bob Baffert, Grade 1 winner, getting better, locally based at Santa Anita, even though she has more of a sprint-type pedigree and profile. You have to have her in that 2 spot. And for me, the number 1 is another Santa Anita filly, and that's Union Strike. The fact that she's a locally based filly, and she won the best 2-year-old filly race I've seen this year in that Del Mar debutante, that performance. Her pedigree translates around 2 turns. The fact that that was the best performance, she's number 1 for me. And you'll see some horses on that board I left, Sweet Loretta being one of them, number 1 on a lot of people's list. She doesn't make my top 5.
All right, well, let's look at this weekend's races. We have a lot to talk about. And let's stay with the 2-year-old division, and let's talk about the Breeders' Futurity. You know, partly because I'm excited we see Keeneland back.
Absolutely.
Joel, this has really turned into a good race. And we see Classic Empire, a horse that was disappointing when he lost his rider in the Hopeful.
Yeah.
You know, he's going against a good horse in here in Gunnevera. Tell me, who do you think gets it done in here?
Yeah, Classic Empire, 2-term pedigree. You know, classic profile if you've ever seen one. Now he finally gets around 2 turns, John. They add blinkers on. He's a quirky horse. They love the way he's trained locally. He's definitely the horse to beat in here, but there's a short run in that first turn. He can't afford to have any gate problems. We talked about that because this, you know, field is not without talent. I mean, he's going to face Gunnevera in there, Saratoga Special winner that also has a 2-term pedigree. You know, son of Dialed In out of an unbridled mare. A lot of pedigree there with Gunnevera and a lot of quality. So between those 2 colts, I think you're going to see a good performance, and probably 1 or 2 are going to pass on to go to the juvenile.
All right, let's stick with the 2-year-olds and let's talk about the Champagne. You know, we talked about 2 good horses in the Breeders' Futurity. Joel, this race is full of really good 2-year-olds, including Practical Joke.
And has a good mix of speed and off-the-pace type horses going a 1-turn mile. I agree. This is one of the better betting races of the weekend. I mean, Practical Joke, you know, he's a Grade 1 winner, breaks from the rail in here, and he's probably not even the most highly regarded 2-year-old in this race from his own barn. I mean, favorable outcome, could take more money than him. A very impressive Saratoga maiden winner, horse with a lot of speed. Practical Joke wants to come from off the pace. I think you're going to see Big Gray Rocket from Bob Baffert, another horse of the big pedigree and a good maiden win coming over. He's going to take money and is very interested in here, should love a 1-turn mile. And you're going to see Cinderguard, the New York bred for Todd Pletcher. A ton of quality and a ton of speed from him as well. He's going to take some interest. So I think that between those 4 colts, a very competitive race, and could see some juvenile contenders.
All right, let's go back out to Santa Anita now, and let's talk about the Santa Anita Sprint. We see Lord Nelson in here. Joel Speed's been holding at Santa Anita. What do you think that does for Lord Nelson?
The thing I like about Lord Nelson, as a refined older horse, he's really found a niche as a sprinter, and he shows a lot more speed and a lot more tactical ability than he did earlier in his career, in my opinion, particularly going that short at 6 furlongs. He has a little lick now. Bob Baffert's got him fresh for this race. He likes Santa Anita, and really it's not a good field. I mean, Baffert has another 3-year-old in the race that's really his top competition. That horse isn't even a graded stakes winner. So Lord Nelson, a 2-time Grade 1 winner, he's your favorite.
All right, let's talk about the Flower Bowl real quick. We see Lady Eli in here. Everybody kind of knows she's a feel-good story with the stuff that she's gone through. You think she gets it done this weekend?
I do. At 10 furlongs, she's already a Grade 1 winner at Belmont at 10 furlongs. So to me, she's the horse to beat with a Titan under her belt. However, if she were to go 1.5 miles, I think her stablemate could beat her, C. Khaleesi. But C. Khaleesi, I don't think can get up with this filly. She's too brilliant. Going 10 furlongs, C. Khaleesi won't get up in my view. Sincere Italia, nobody's talking about her. 3rd off the layoff. Another quality filly now as a 4-year-old that quietly comes in here with a chance to win this. And then Andre Faub also sends over a filly from Europe that looks like she has a little quality. But for me, it's those 3 Americans.
All right, let's talk about the Jockey Club Gold Cup. We see FNX in here. You know, this is a horse that's been running for a while. Tell me what you think about his chances.
Well, I talked about Lord Nelson, the fact that as he matured, he's gotten a lot more tactical. FNX is the same way. He used to be a 1-run closer type. He's shown a lot more speed and stalking ability, and I think that's going to serve him well in here. He likes Belmont, likes 10 furlongs. Mike Smith draws outside with him. That tactical speed is going to be the difference because New Tahij, Opportunity, 2 other colts at like 1.25 miles, they need a pace setup. Shorter type field, FNX with a tactical advantage. He's the horse to beat. And watch out for Watershed, a horse I've always liked. they obviously like the form he's in to take a shot in here. He might like a 1.25 miles.
All right, this next race, Joel, let's just say we had horses like Tourist and Temple City and Grand Arch and you know, a few other good horses, and let's see them run before the Breeders' Cup. Well, that's happening this Saturday in the Shadwell Turf Mile. Joel, you think this is the race of the weekend?
It's definitely the race of the weekend. There's a lot of good races, but I mean, Miss Temple City, Grade 1 winner earlier this year at Keeneland. You know, Tourist gonna be your second choice, coming in an awesome 4-star day victory. The fact that he's got 2 big buyers coming into this race. Monty Elise, your Arlington Million winner, you know, was on the board in the Breeders' Cup Mile at Keeneland. He's going to be your favorite. I mean, who do I miss? Grand Arch, the defending winner of this race, coming in a lot improved form as a venerable, 7-year-old now. And What a View, the California horse, a lot of speed, comes in on a 3 or 4 race win streak from California, Grade 1 type horse. I mean, this is no doubt, there's 5 or 6 horses in here that if any of the 5 or 6 won, you would not be surprised. It's that good of a race.
I'll tell you, it's going to be a great weekend of racing. You know, it's sizing up to be a great Breeders' Cup. It's a great information.
It really is. I'm anxious to get some more of these top 5s launched.
All right, well, thank you for coming in, and thank you guys for sticking with us. I know we had a lot to talk about. Make sure you come back next week. We're going to recap these winning your ends, and we'll also launch a few more TCI top 5s.